Have your attention, please. We will reconvene the meeting that we started earlier this evening. We're going to reconvene the public session. It is now approximately 6 o'clock. I'd like to inform the public that all the board members are present, and we will be swearing in the student trustee soon. So we stand and we pledge allegiance to the flags. Please stand. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, it gives me great pleasure to introduce our new student trustee. She is replacing our student trustee who had to resign for personal reasons. So it's my pleasure to introduce to you John A. Davis Hendricks. She's a student trustee, and she will be serving from December, this meeting, until May the 15th. And so we will administer the oath. Please stand. Please raise your right hand, and you repeat after me. I. Your name?
Jonay Davis Hendricks.
David Hendricks. Do solemnly affirm that I will support and defend the Constitution.
Do solemnly
Affirm.
affirm that I will
Support and defend the Constitution
the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of California
of the State of California
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well
and I will well
and faithfully discharge
and faithfully discharge
the duties upon
the duties of one
which I am about to enter.
for which I am about to enter.
Thank you very much. Let's give her a hand of applause. Great job. Johnny, do you have any family members or friends that came out here just to see you get sworn in?
Yes, my mom.
I have her stand, please. Anyone else?
No, just my mom.
I want to just say to you personally that we're very proud of your daughter joining us, and no doubt she's going to make you proud as we move along in all these tough decisions that she'll have to vote on. At this time, we will administer the oath to newly elected governing board members for wards 1, 3, and 4, and then we'll have the annual organizational meeting. So we'll, Tim Farley, John Edgley, and myself just move up front and have Mr. Harlan swear us in.
Hello, man. Hey, no just demonstrations, please. This young lady has set a very high bar. Are you guys ready?
We're ready. But before we start, let me introduce Bill Harlan. He's going to do us the honor of giving us all three the oath tonight. So we learned a little bit from the young lady here. We're ready, sir.
All right, here we go. Okay. I, repeat your name. Raise your right hand first. Yeah, good. Repeat your name.
John Marcus.
do solemnly affirm that I will support and defend
Do solemnly affirm that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of California
and the Constitution of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and that I take this obligation freely
and that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
the duties upon which I am about to enter.
the duties upon which I am about to enter.
Congratulations, you're legal.
Mr. Farley, Trustee Farley, Trustee Farley, do you have any friends or
I
family
do,
members? you'd like
I
to
do, and
introduce?
I will introduce them, but I also have a few comments I'd like to.
Okay, of course, pull out the microphone a little
Yeah.
bit.
It's a genuine honor to be here tonight to represent the people of District 3. I don't know how many of you have been in this building, but when you walk in this building, there is a wonderful interpretive center on the history of the Community College Board, Community College District. And there's some individuals that may be just pictures, just faces to you, but to me, these are the giants of Contra Costa County. There's a couple of individuals down there that I know. Bert Coffey and George Gordon were visionaries. They realized that after World War II, we had incoming veterans coming in. We had a growing population. There was a need to educate them. And instead of saying, somebody's got to do it, they said, we can do it. These individuals formed the Contra Costa Community College District Governing Board. They formed the college district. They started in San Pablo, then they did DVC, and they provided an opportunity for so many of us. My father, Ted Farley, went to DVC on the GI Bill. I went to DVC. It took 3 years. And went to CIS. My son Vincent, who's in finals right now, went to DVC. All products of the community college system. And I'm just very proud to be a part of that. During my experience at the Community College District, I took English 121 from a rather jovial and full of life professor named Bill Harlan. And I turned in my first paper, and I turned in my second paper, and after the second paper, he pulled me aside, and he looked at it, and he said, Tim, you can do better than this. I expect more from you. And it was the attitude that Bill Harlan had that set me on my way to go to UC Davis. The Don Glens of the world, the Jim Ardinis, these were individuals that worked at the Community College District that saw promise, not in Tim Farley, but in every student that came through there. That's what we need to do. That's what I want to do. And for the next 4 years, I will work my hardest to make sure that we can get them in and we can get them out. So thank you for allowing me this opportunity. I would like to mention my lovely wife, Eileen. She's been with me for a long time. Eileen, did a great job. My big sister, Shannon, who treats me like her child, still. My cousin, Barbara Chambers, who always calls me Timmy, and I like that. And we have a recently elected member of the Martinez City Council here, Debbie McKillop. Thompson, who picked up a portion of Contra Costa County, couldn't be here tonight, but he sent Mel Rapella. Mel, would you please stand up? So with that, I'm sure these are not my final words. I'll go ahead and be through right now.
I want to thank Trustee Farley. Let's give him another round of applause, please. Vice President Nedgley and myself are old-timers, and we could probably say a few words. And in fact, I would just simply want to thank the board and staff for the support I've had since I've been here the last 4 years. Cherish that support, and I'm greatly appreciative of the support I had not only up here, but also out in the community. And in fact, I want to introduce Tom Riley here, who was served with me on the board at one time, and she's extremely supportive of my actions and kind of a mentor. Stand up, please. And like Tim, I see these individuals when we walk into the district office, Bert Coffey and Mr. Gordon, and like Tim, I'm a product of a community college. I went to Contra Costa College also on the GI Bill. Started late in life as an Army veteran with a couple of kids. But what I learned at Contra Costa College helped me to go on and my degrees and credentials. And so here I sit before all of you, extremely proud of being able to serve my community and be able to work with staff. And so I know that Mr. Nedgley will probably have a couple of words. He's only been here 20 years on the board. But, sir, could you...
Well, John, you have been a leader here at the district, and I want to know that you took over for our fearless leader, Sheila Grilly, that passed while she was in office. And you've done an exemplary job. You filled some big shoes. And Tim, I think you will continue that tradition here at the district. You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, so now we're at the point where we will have the organizational meeting in order to accordance with the Education Code, Section 72,000, subsection C, subsection 2, and we will have the election of officers for the governing board for December 2014 until December 2015. And so,
If I may?
yes, sir, Mr. Nedgley.
Mr. President, I would like to elect a slate of officers that would include John Marquez as secretary, and Vicki Gordon as vice president, and John Nedgley as president of the board for the coming year.
I would second the recommendation. Is there any discussion on that?
I wanted to have the nomination.
Hearing none, let's, I think a vote is proper. So let's vote. We haven't had discussion because there's none. And you heard the slate that was offered. All in favor, you give us an aye. Aye. All noes? All abstentions? Here not. Student trustee, how do you vote?
Aye.
All right. So, hearing, it appears that we would have, it appears that we would have a majority vote here, including the student trustee. So, thank you all. You heard our president will not be John Nedgley. Our vice president, formerly known as Madam Secretary Vicki Gordon. Myself as secretary, and we hope to carry this torch at the dinner line. Thank you very much.
Well,
Mr.
as I
President?
mentioned, Mr. Marquez, you've done an exemplary job as president in the last few years. You had an extended reign, and it included passing of a major bond issue that will have a very long-lasting effect on the college district, and you should be thanked. And as a token of our appreciation, I would like to present to you a ceremonial gavel that you can take home with you and pound it any time you would like.
This is nice. And have it sit on them, let's switch places now.
Oh, that's okay, you can stay there. I have all my stuff here, I'll make a mess if I move now.
Okay, so this one.
Thank you, board, I appreciate your support, and it's been a while since I've served as board president, but I hope I can represent you well, and I hope we can work together to move the business of the district forward. And welcome to the student trustee.
Thank you.
Thank you. One of the first items on the agenda I always like to include are the governing board code of ethics. I put them on so, because we do have new board members, and it's a way we like to work together. That includes service, respect, accountability, integrity, communications, confidentiality, and openness. And this isn't a complete list, but it's a list we like to work from. So we work together as board members. I've included them in the packet. If you have any questions, we can talk about them, but I want to make sure we all are aware that the district has those policies in effect. With that, and I know a lot of you are here to make comments, I want to give you the chance. I do have speaker cards. We have a speaker card system. If you'd like to speak before the board, please feel free to fill out a card, put your name on it, pass it up, and we'll give you a chance to address the board. The first speaker I have is Satinder Malhi from Susan Bonilla's office.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the board. Satinder Malhi here tonight on behalf of Assemblywoman Bonilla. Just very quickly, she wanted me to pass along her congratulations to all of you, Chair Nedgley, Trustee Marquez, and our newest addition to the board, Mr. Farley. It's a very personal point of privilege for me to be here tonight. Tim is somebody that I have looked to for many years as a friend and a mentor. Heartfelt congratulations to both Tim and to everyone here. And certainly the Assemblywoman wishes that she could be here tonight in person to extend her congratulations to all of you. But just wanted me to pass along how much she looks forward to continuing to work with all of you in the coming year ahead. So thank you once again.
Thank you. From Brentwood, we have Hal Bray.
Yes, good evening. My name is Hal Bray. I'm the Vice Chairman of the Contra Costa Republican Party and a resident of Somerset 4 in Brentwood. And I'm here to talk about your decision or your location for your campus in Brentwood. There are some other people here from Somerset 4, and they have brought a petition where we've had over 1,000 residents sign the petition to move the campus. And those are people from Somerset 3, Somerset 4. Somerset 4, where I live, has 600 homes and 600 signatures. So we feel very strongly about this. From my position, what I see is that you're currently moving your current campus from a low-income, primarily immigrant population area to a cow pasture and senior community. Doesn't make any sense to me at all. There are no services, there are no restaurants, there's no public transportation, there's bad access for vehicles, and of course we're very worried about that being in Somerset 4. Primarily my concern is that you violated every principle of Plan Bay area to put a campus somewhere away from a transportation hub. The legislature and the Metropolitan Transportation Commission have worked for years to build Plan Bay area and build redevelopment around transportation hubs. And you have placed this campus completely away from any kind of transportation. So I think it's a very bad decision. You know, I'm opposed to it. The Republican Party is opposed to it. And I suggest that you take some other consideration. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I'd like to call Mark Vandenberg.
Well, good evening. I'm the guy that wrote the letter. I sent a letter to all you folks, and Vicki was, I mean, she called me right back. I mean, I basically sent the email out.
Yes, I do.
We're new to the area, and I just thought I'd just ask the question in the letter. When my wife and I moved here in probably August from Modesto, and we're just looking around and we're saying, we're putting the comments down there, and we don't even know the names of the roads, and I'm thinking, this seems a little odd. And so I thought I'd at least ask the question in that letter and try to make some points. I have no vested interest in any of it. We're just new kids on the block, but it's, unless we can come up with some valid points why it was put there, I'm kind of baffled. Now, Vicki and I talked a little bit, and she was excellent. We chatted for a while. One of the things she mentioned was you looked at other areas, and one of them, the Sand Creek area or something, that's, the state wouldn't allow you to do something, and I don't want to get into a lot of details because people are going to be here tonight, but you couldn't move it there because it's too close to something. And correct me if I'm wrong, Vicki, and then we talked to a bunch of other cities in the area, and they kind of didn't want it, but Brentwood said, oh yeah, we'll take it. And we were at the council meeting last night, and there were some issues about that. I won't go on and on. I'm just fairly new, and I'm not an expert on this thing, although I did teach part-time at MJC back when I lived in Modesto. I think the people are going to be asking, and maybe you've answered these questions, but it doesn't make much sense to the new people in the area. We're away from Fairview. Even if there wasn't a traffic issue, it just boggles my mind as to why we would put it there. And not that elderly people take advantage of classes, and we understand that, but there's no food service. There's going to be traffic issues. So I won't go on and on. I'm just confused. And maybe we can straighten some of that out. It doesn't make any sense to the new kid on the block. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I took some classes at MJC.
Yeah.
Might have taught me one.
No, mine was accounting stuff, so.
Thank you. Tom Meyer?
Good evening. Thank you. We're very appreciative of Mr. Nedgley, the Ward 4 Ward Representative, coming out to Brentwood to Somerset 4 in early November, along with Chancellor Benjamin and a whole contingent of staff and administrators from the community college. Our town hall meeting was attended by more than 160 Somerset residents. We had hoped, those of us planning the meeting, that it would allay some concerns and fears about the location for the new campus in Trilogy. Quite frankly, it had exactly the opposite effect. When Bob Cradaville told us that 95% of the students at the Brentwood campus currently drive, don't take public transportation, people are saying, see, we told you, Tom, there's going to be more and more traffic on Fairview because of the lack of student services. We were told that we've learned from the mistakes we made in San Ramon. If we need to build a parking garage, we'll do that. And then we find out after the meeting that just now, thanks to the recently passed bond measure, there may be some effort at addressing parking and traffic issues in San Ramon 8 years after the campus opened. So we're not happy to settle for anything like that. We also heard frustration when we spoke at this board meeting earlier in the fall about BART and not making decisions about transportation locations and things like that. So we have been meeting with BART board members, harassing them, I guess is the word I'll use, on what's going on here. So we have letters from the BART board president that went to the mayor that we shared with the Brentwood City Council last night that was dated in November, and so we encouraged the Brentwood Mayor and City Council to get involved with the Somersets to work with the college to get our issues resolved. Primarily, we think this is not a good location. There are better locations, and we can talk about those at another time. We're appreciative of Helen's outreach to the board presidents, and we do have a meeting at 8:30 or 9 this Friday morning with 3 people from the college. We've also, because we told the city council last night, you have to get involved with this. There's no such thing as being neutral. You have a role to play. So we expect you, Mr. Mayor, and you, Mr. City Manager, to be at this meeting with the 3 people from the community college on Friday at Somerset 4. So we'll have that meeting and see where it goes. I know the primary agenda for that is mitigation with traffic, from my conversation with Helen, but we're also going to be talking about questions that need to be answered about the location. So as Hal Bray mentioned, the first speaker, more than 1,000 registered voters have signed a petition that in essence asks you to do one of 2 things. To first abandon your plans for the new Brentwood campus at the proposed Trilogy location and seek an alternate location that is the best long-term interest of the public that the district serves. If not, then the Contra Costa Community College District should conduct a public election on the same ballot as the special state Senate primary election expected in March 2015 to allow Far East County voters to decide whether to keep the proposed Trilogy site for the new Brentwood campus or to seek an alternative location that is in the best long-term interest of the public that the district serves. Once a site is finalized, and I know that you acted at your November board meeting to finalize the Trilogy site, so I guess we're asking you, and I did ask you in an email I sent to each of you late last night, to consider rescinding that action and at least postponing any action, for example, things like engaging contracts with architectural firms and other things for the Trilogy site until we get a lot of this issue addressed. So with that, I will pass out to each of the council members this petition that is signed with printed names and addresses by more than 1,000 registered voters. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Donna Meyer?
Good evening, and Mr. Farley, when you spoke about get them in and get them out, you know, it's kind of what we're thinking about. We want to get them in and get them out. And so I am just requesting that you rethink your placement of the Las Perdonas campus in Redwood. It's not centrally located for any student. It's surrounded by people, communities that are 55 and older. The intended traffic route is already busy, and the other traffic routes will be really a lot of fun. There's no food or retail anywhere in the vicinity of your planned building. The adequacy of parking is really in question. And I, in looking at your plans, wonder about any space for future growth. And we're like a growing part of Contra Costa County. Oakley and Brentwood are just streaming with potential students for you. And your plans for this college are like in the utmost farthest place that you could manage to put it, away from the population that you would serve. It truly makes absolutely no sense. So please rethink this. Thank you.
Thank you, Rose Struther?
Thank you for board of directors for hearing me out on this. My name is Rose Struther. I've been in Brentwood for about 11 years. I am on the board of directors for our homeowners association in Somerset Ford. I've been treasurer since 2007. I'm a former CPA, so I do have a little bit of credentials in my background. Whatever the reason the Trilogy site was selected, it was not known to many who live in the retirement communities and surround the college site. This has very few benefits to the majority of young students who will use the facility and will be a very negative impact on the communities that surround the proposed site. The majority of surrounding neighbors are 55 or older communities, and younger students will not live close to the college. There's no public transportation to this new campus, which also increases the number of vehicles on the streets. There are limited and no facilities at this location to provide food and other services to the students. While the new Balfour Road overpass scheduled for construction in 2015 may help traffic flow, there's no current plans to help widen the Highway 4 bypass, which is now 2 lanes, to accommodate the increase in traffic caused by the Trilogy overflow. The correct location will require additional police. The current location will require additional police to protect the students and our community, which are not available now nor planned for in the future. College campuses attract sexual predators with young girls can be molested, kidnapped, or killed, and these predators can flow over into our retirement community. College campuses are known for protests that bring riots and destruction. Berkeley is now experiencing this in their neighborhood. If the land can be traded to protect and not disturb Indian burial grounds, then there is no reason that the current location cannot be traded for a more suitable location centered around other businesses, easier to access by students intended to use the facility, and where police are already patrolling. There are approximately 4,000 voters in Somerset Development, and there will be at least that many in Trilogy, who do not want their security, safety, quiet, or property values diminished. Please consider these needs of the over 55 community that already live in this area before you decide to negatively impact our lives. Thank you.
Thank you, Rose. Alan Smith?
Good evening, trustees. I'm Alan Smith. I'm chair of the Board Accessibility Task Force. However, tonight I am speaking as an individual. I cannot imagine locating a college campus that is not near public transportation. We, working with BART, are citizen advocates for improving access to public transportation. And every day with the low-income people and with the disabled community that we work with, we see the vital importance of public transportation for people being able to get around. What is the cost of potentially depriving low-income students and disabled students who can't get to a college campus other than by public transportation? This is going to potentially have a very negative impact on our community. And I think we deserve it to the low income, to the minority, and to those who can't drive, and to the disability community, to let them have a college education, let them become more productive tax-paying citizens in this county. I urge you to reconsider and move the campus location to an area that has good public transportation. Thank you.
Thank you. I did have a few submittals from other people. One was Bill Hartland, the person that was here earlier. I won't read his whole letter.
That one was read last month.
Okay, I'll just summarize. It says, the delay construction of the permanent center will inevitably hurt thousands of students who have been patiently waiting for the new learning environment for over a decade. And he just summarized by saying, we took measured steps in building Diablo Valley College San Ramon Center, and I urge the governing board to do the same by moving forward with building the permanent Brentwood Center at the Pioneer Square location. And then I had one from Dan O'Brien. Says, congratulations on the recent vote of the governing board members to stay the course in citing the future College of Los Medanos at the Vineyards at Marsh Creek location. I am the area president for Shea Homes and accordingly have responsibility over our development in Brentwood, Trilogy at the Vineyards. What's more, I am a resident of Trilogy and sit on the board of the Homeowners Association. As such, I represent each of these constituencies when I say that we were all very concerned that this site was being reconsidered. We see the infinite possibilities in an alliance with the college. Trilogy is designed for those of us in the third phase of our lives, built upon three key pillars: health and wellness, connections with others, and exploring our potential. One of the exploration components is lifelong learning. In fact, Trilogy nationwide has a long-standing history of partnering with Osher Foundation as well as local universities across the country. When the bond referendum was looking shaky, we got a call from the staff for help and support. We rallied the Trilogy community and got out the vote in support of the bond so that our vision of a walkable community college would not go up in smoke. I'd like to think that our 90% vote helped carry the day. So you can see how our members were feeling disenchanted when, after so much hard work, the Board of Governors was entertaining taking the campus out of Vineyards at Marsh Creek. Unlike our neighbors to the north, we have no concern whatsoever about traffic. We feel that Fairview will serve only a small number of students on their commute to class. Most traffic will occur on Heritage Highway 4. On the contrary, we look forward to having the youth of our community nearby. Sincerely, Dan O'Brien, Area President, Trilogy, Northern California. And I won't read all of these because this item isn't on our agenda, and I'm not able to get into a discussion about it. We don't have an action item. I've talked to the Chancellor about it. This is more. My time is terrible. This is more of a regional issue, and it's going to take county, I think some of that was said, the state, and the city of Brentwood, and a thoughtful discussion with staff. And I think you have that scheduled. I have the speaker card. We'll contact you and let you know when that's going to happen. And I very much do appreciate you coming out tonight. I know it's a long drive. It's dark getting back out on Highway 4. But I'm glad you were able to come tonight and express your concerns. We take those very seriously. And I've discussed it with the Chancellor, and we'll be contacting you and trying to address the concerns and come up with a positive solution. So thank you.
President?
Sir.
Just a point of clarification, President Eaton's here. Will I have an opportunity to discuss this issue?
You have a comment section here on the agenda.
Okay.
Governing
Items for future agenda.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, thank you so much.
I just want to make sure that everyone is aware that there was a letter dated November 25th, 2014 from County Supervisor Mary Netchie-Pico. Earlier we had her Chief of Staff here, Tommy O'Reilly. Have all the board members at least received this letter? No. Okay. Do you think it was her intention that it be read into the record? It's addressed to Mr. Marquez.
Well, I think her representative was here earlier.
Yes.
And she left.
I just want to make certain that
I think that
we
I'd
all,
like to get received at my
Yeah, we got it.
because I'll just briefly mention her concern. I am writing to request reconsideration of your vote to not pursue further dialogue with the Brentwood community on a proposed benefit center. A site adjoining State Route 4, land is a transit-oriented mixed development, use development, and a proposed E-BART station at Macomb, the share is worth further evaluation. It goes on, and at the end, I ask that you reconsider your vote and seek further dialogue with the community and all local leaders on this important and valuable project.
Okay, and I've discussed that with the chancellor, we'll continue that dialogue. And once again, I appreciate all of you coming out tonight. I know it's not easy, it's a long ride, and the train keeps coming by. So thank you. With that, I'm going to move on to reports from constituency leaders. District Governance Councilor Eric Holtman. Sylvester Henderson.
Everybody was believing that I was coming, that's not a word.
Sure, it's nothing personal.
Okay, the District Governance Council met on December the 2nd from 1 to 4. These were the major items that were discussed. Dr. Benjamin emphasized and discussed the Convocation on Innovation to be held on January the 9th, 2015. The district is planning for a large amount of faculty, managers, and approved classified employees to attend this wonderful opportunity. Second, the council completed its approval of various board policies and business procedures. Major discussions was held around board policy 5036, assets and assets control. DGC supports the suggestion of classified leaders to ask for a fifth read of Human Resource Procedure 3200.01, travel time for classified employees. This item will come back to the District Governance Council on January the 20th, 2015 for more detailed discussion. Thank you. This concludes my report.
Thank you. Academic Senate, Lori Lima.
Good afternoon, good evening, good afternoon. All one and the same. It rolls on to the day. Well, we're at the end of the calendar year, the end of the semester, and I thought I would focus my report a little bit on reflection of the year, some of the accomplishments, and I think the things we're looking forward to working on in the near future. He's not here tonight, but I really wanted to acknowledge Glenn Appel. He is finishing up his work and his leadership in the United Faculty, at least as president. And of course, Donna Walkner has been elected and will be here. You'll be hearing from her on a regular basis. Glenn couldn't be here tonight. He has a family emergency, but I wanted the public record to reflect the Senate's appreciation of his work. Governing board members, those of you who are re-elected, you're not really new to us, but welcome back. John Marquez and John Nedgley, and welcome to our very brand newly elected Tim Farley and our student trustee, Jonae Davis Hendricks. So it'll be another year of reports and interactions, and I look forward to the work with you. I thought you would find it interesting to know a little bit about the academic work that has happened over the last year. In particular, I'd like to call to your attention some good news. The Chancellor's Office just reported on the first year's results of the transfer degrees, the associate degree for transfer. And the state of California had 5,367 associate transfer degrees in that first year. We anticipate there will be a lot more statewide. Because remember all that work we were doing to get those transfer degrees in place? It's a lot of work by all of the colleges, and we did that. We went through discipline after discipline and got those degrees in place. So we will see those numbers increase, I'm sure, in the very near future. But what I wanted to do is highlight where we stand statewide. Pasadena is at the top. They had a total transfer degree of 435 for their college. Diablo Valley College is second. We're right behind them, so I think that's our competition for next year. We had 432 transfer degrees our first year. Los Medanos and Contra Costa, of course, are much smaller in their population, so it would be expected that their degrees, the amount of them, wouldn't be quite as many as DVC's. LMC had 111 and Contra Costa 13 for the very first year. So we'll see, I'm sure, increases in those in the next year. The Academic Senate presidents just returned from plenary session, and if you're not familiar with our plenary session, it's like a major convention conference, and at the end of that, we vote on lots of resolutions, very similar to what you go to in student work. Some of the highlights of the plenary session included focuses on equity and accreditation. In particular, the work with accreditation and how to use the 3SP plan, equity plans, enrollment management plans, all integrated into the accreditation process. We heard a lot about the Common Assessment Initiative that is coming, which is the statewide initiative to work on developing a single assessment throughout the California community college system. A lot about adult education, as well as the Ed Planning Initiative, which is about the system-wide student portal, online student education planning tool, a degree audit system, and online orientation to be made available to all the colleges throughout the state. So what we're hearing and focusing on more and more in the statewide conversations is statewide initiatives and kind of consistency in what we're doing and in our goals. Lastly, I just want to focus on the presentation that was made to us at plenary session by Patrick Perry, who is the Executive Vice Chancellor at the Chancellor's Office. And he talked quite a bit about the Student Success Initiative, in particular, some of the metrics that have been developed that we will be using to focus our goals on, not only for the system, but that the colleges should, within each of the districts, really be focusing on to use to inform our priorities for budgets, for planning and initiatives. And those are student success, equity, student services, efficiency, and access. So as we look to the year coming ahead of us, system-wide, I think what we will see is a continued focus on both student success and equity, accreditation work, non-credit and adult education, and an increased emphasis on career technical education, workforce, and development. So there's a lot of exciting work that's happening statewide, and you'll be hearing more about that from not only the Academic Senate, but from management and other groups as well, I'm sure. So anyway, I would like to wish all of you happy holidays, and to drive home safely. The storm is coming and it's on its way. So anyway, that concludes my report.
Thanks for all the hard work, Lauren.